Jance and Philip charged toward Jamie with menacing intent, but to their bewilderment, Jamie vanished into thin air right before their eyes. Puzzled, they frantically scanned their surroundings, only for Jamie to reappear with a dark aura enveloping him, casting an intimidating presence that sent shivers down Jance and Philip's spines. With an air of mystique, Jamie employed his magical abilities, probing the depths of their recent conversation. To their shock, Jance and Philip reluctantly divulged their involvement in a heinous crime, human trafficking, particularly of innocent young children. This revelation struck a nerve within Jamie, as it turned out to be the very crime that Jamie's father despised the most. Standing amidst the unfolding darkness of the revelation, Jamie couldn't fathom the audacity of these individuals. Thoughts raced through Jamie's mind, questioning the motives behind such a sinister act and whether these individuals harbored a death wish. As Jamie grappled with the realization of the depths of human depravity, a surge of annoyance mixed with anger coursed through him. Already irate at the meddling of divine forces in human affairs, Jamie found it utterly infuriating that mere mortals would exploit their own kind. The incongruity of human beings preying on each other further fueled Jamie's discontent. Struggling to comprehend the logic behind their captain's acceptance of such a malevolent proposal, Jamie couldn't shake off the suspicion that their leader was well aware of Jamie's father's vehement principles against such crimes. An uneasy feeling settled in Jamie's gut, foreseeing a morning filled with turmoil as the truth unfolded. In a decisive moment, Jamie rose from the scene, forming a magical circle around Jance and Philip. With a stern command, Jamie compelled them to head to the Count's residence and confess their sinister plans. The two, influenced by Jamie's magical authority, reluctantly agreed to comply, promising to reveal everything to the Count. As they departed, Jamie couldn't help but wonder about the twisted machinations that had led them to this point. Anticipating the impending chaos, Jamie prepared to depart, resolving to deal with the divine meddling that had riled him earlier. However, the tranquil moment was shattered as Philip and Jance were violently propelled into a nearby wall. Four mysterious assailants materialized, leaving Jamie perplexed about their sudden appearance. Deploying magic once again, Jamie healed the battered duo, emphasizing the gravity of their situation. Their lives were temporarily spared, contingent on the successful completion of the assigned task. The assailant responsible for the abrupt assault revealed himself as Han Lee, a mid-ranking officer in criminal organization known as Livell. Han Lee ordered his men to drag the fallen individuals, including the enigmatic figure cloaked in darkness. In the chaotic aftermath of Jance and Philip being dragged towards Han Lee, Jamie's rage surged, poised for retaliation against the unfolding injustice. However, before Jamie could unleash his fury, Han Lee preemptively struck, landing several blows to Jamie's body. Seemingly undeterred, Jamie pressed on, determined to confront the impending threat. Han Lee, fueled by his own malevolence, charged forward with a fiery spell, intending to incinerate Jamie. To the astonishment of both Han Lee and his entourage, Jamie managed to switch places with one of Han Lee's underlings just as the flames erupted. The unintended consequence left one of Han Lee's men consumed by the searing blaze, a twist of fate that caught everyone off guard. As the chaos unfolded, Jamie, seizing the opportunity, materialized behind Han Lee with an air of challenge. Puzzled and disconcerted, Han Lee took a step back, unsure of how Jamie had outsmarted him. Jamie, confronting Han Lee with a pointed question about the perceived enjoyment of killing one's subordinates, shouted in anger. The perplexed Han Lee struggled to comprehend Jamie's resilience, exacerbated by the mysterious dark aura shrouding Jamie's form. Undeterred, Jamie closed the distance with Han Lee, expressing bewilderment at Han Lee's irrational behavior despite possessing only third-class mana. The confrontation escalated as Han Lee, driven by frustration, unleashed his most potent spell, Buster, a third-class explosion magic. A colossal flare of fire erupted, aimed directly at Jamie. However, to Han Lee's disbelief, Jamie displayed remarkable agility, effortlessly evading the fiery onslaught. As the flames subsided, Jamie, still unscathed, dissected the psychological dynamics at play. He articulated the vulnerability of the human mind when confronted by superior forces and professed his satisfaction in manipulating those weaker than himself. The revelation left Han Lee stunned, grappling with the reality of his own limitations in the face of Jamie's cunning. In a decisive turn, Jamie emerged victorious, defeating Han Lee in a display of magical prowess. The onlookers, including Han Lee's bewildered companions, were left dumbfounded by the unexpected outcome. Attempting to escape the inevitable consequences of their actions, Han Lee's cohorts made a futile attempt to flee. In a swift and masterful move, Jamie invoked his spell, Erasure, eliminating them in one fell swoop. Approaching the defeated Han Lee, Jamie assumed control, asserting dominance over the once formidable adversary. In a role reversal, Jamie instructed Han Lee, now subservient, to answer a series of questions. Han Lee, acknowledging Jamie as his master, submitted to the newfound power dynamic. As Han reluctantly spilled the details about the trafficked children, Jamie couldn't shake the feeling of déjà vu. The information seemed all too familiar, echoing previous encounters with the dark underbelly of society. A twinge of disappointment crept over Jamie, a sense of wasted time settling in. Despite the distressing nature of the revelations, Jamie had hoped for something more, something that would justify the investment of time and energy in this pursuit. The predicament with Han lingered. Despite Jamie's measured approach, it became apparent that Han's soul had suffered irrevocable damage. In the arcane realm, where magic and morality intersected, Jamie faced a conundrum. Though Han's physical body remained intact, his impending demise was an inescapable reality. The typical recourse, turning Han into an undead, was rendered impractical due to the irreversible decay that would follow. Jamie, acknowledging the unsuitability of unleashing undead creatures in a tranquil environment, grappled with an alternate solution. Reluctantly, Jamie absorbed all of Han's mana, hoping to glean some advantage from the situation. The infusion of magical energy came with impurities, a consequence of the constraints imposed by the limitations of the human form. Yet Jamie found a silver lining in the opportunity to absorb a substantial amount of mana, a fortunate turn of events in an otherwise perplexing scenario. As Jamie contemplated the fate of Philip and Jance, now imbued with the absorbed mana, the question arose of their sustainability in this state. Their bodies, temporarily revitalized, held a fragile grip on this borrowed vitality. It was a transient state, and Jamie foresaw the inevitable return to their previous conditions. Turning to Jamie's spectral companion, Black, Jamie delved into the realm of necromancy. The dark art offered a means to command the reanimated, utilizing their bodies for Jamie's purposes. The distinction between necromancy and the resurrection of life became apparent. The beings summoned were no longer living entities. They were undead, straddling the delicate boundary between life and death. In a ritualistic fashion, Jamie bestowed a semblance of life upon Philip and Jance, transforming them into loyal servants bound to Jamie's will. With Black's assistance, Jamie successfully restored the souls of Jance and Philip back into their bodies. However, an unexpected twist unfolded as black smoke began emanating from the revived individuals. A sense of unease gripped Jamie, a feeling that something had gone awry. Doubt infiltrated Jamie's mind, casting shadows over the perceived success of the necromantic endeavor. As Black reassured Jamie that everything had gone according to plan, a seed of doubt sprouted in Jamie's mind. Suspicion cast a shadow over the assurance, prompting Jamie to scrutinize Black, wondering if something had indeed gone awry. Meanwhile, Jance and Philip, the subjects of Jamie's magical intervention, emitted disconcerting black smoke, raising concerns about their newfound state. Jamie pondered the practicality of retaining them in this condition, realizing their inability to operate under Genesis orders or navigate public spaces if the enigmatic smoke persisted. Black, attuned to Jamie's apprehension, sought to convey a crucial message. In a surprising move, Black approached Jamie to deliver the message with a cheeky bite. Jamie, momentarily angered by the unexpected nip, watched in awe as Black positioned himself atop Jance's head and voraciously devoured the black smoke enveloping both men. It was a revelation. Black possessed the ability to neutralize the ominous emissions. As Black efficiently cleared the air around Jance and Philip, Jamie marveled at the unexpected skill. The once pervasive black smoke dissipated, leaving Jamie content with the outcome. Black, however, lay tired and depleted, having expended considerable energy in cleansing the magical residue. In response, Jamie offered words of appreciation, patting Black with gratitude for a job well done. With the immediate crisis averted, Jamie contemplated the next steps. Considering whether to grant Jance and Philip individual names and consciousness, Jamie recognized the need for their awakening. As Jamie initiated the process, the two men gradually regained consciousness, bewildered by the unexpected turn of events. Jamie, aware of their confusion, decided to afford them some time to acclimate to their newfound existence. Jance, mustering courage, confronted Jamie with the burning question: was Jamie the architect of their transformation? Jamie, without hesitation, confirmed his role, and the revelation sent shockwaves through Jance. Despite Jamie's youthful appearance, an overwhelming and foreboding aura emanated from him, reminiscent of the malevolent entities Jance had only encountered in tales and ancient texts. To Jance, Jamie seemed to embody the forbidden, a creature defying the natural order, akin to a demon lord. Philip, grappling with uncertainty, openly admitted his ignorance regarding Jamie's true nature. Yet Philip couldn't bring himself to see Jamie as merely human, displaying an unusually aggressive demeanor. Observing Philip's intense eyes, Jamie's irritation grew. In response, Jamie harnessed magical power, compelling both Philip and Jance to bow their heads to the ground. Addressing Philip sternly, Jamie offered a one-time forgiveness, cautioning that any recurrence could have dire consequences. with Jamie unable to guarantee Philip's safety. Faced with Jamie's threat, Philip, visibly frightened, quickly assured Jamie that he understood and pledged not to repeat such behavior. Jamie extended the caution to Jance, underscoring the nature of their subordination through the soul-binding contract, emphasizing that their lives belonged to Jamie as an intrinsic aspect of dark magic. Clarifying his identity, Jamie asserted that he wasn't a demon lord, countering Jance's inquiry about Jamie's true nature. When Jance pressed further, asking what kind of being Jamie was, Jamie revealed himself as a dark magician. After instructing Jance and Philip to surveil the Jinnist church and gather crucial information, Jamie emphasized another task, bringing a person who might possess insights into human trafficking. Jamie intended to appoint this individual as the reporter in lieu of Jance and Philip. As the two men looked up, Jamie had already departed, prompting them to exhale a collective sigh of relief. Confused about the inexplicable events surrounding their bodies, Jance suggested they proceed with the assigned tasks, and Philip agreed, recognizing the imperative nature of Jamie's orders. Meanwhile, Jamie, accompanied by Black, expressed concern for the two men. In response, Jamie assured Black that the knot of subordination had been tightly secured, rendering disobedience impossible. Jamie believed this precaution would allow Jamie's father to independently address the human trafficking incident. Instructing Black to return home for the day, Jamie continued to navigate the intricate web of magical contracts and subordination. However, the routine excursion took an unexpected turn when Jamie collided with a passerby. Irritated and shocked, Jamie turned to confront the culprit, only to discover it was a child. The realization dawned on Jamie that despite wielding formidable magical abilities, Jamie was still just a 9-year-old. Informing the child that he would be let off this time, Jamie advised him to be more cautious in the future. The child, however, responded with frustration, unable to reconcile Jamie's childlike appearance with the mature tone of Jamie's speech. Black, sensing the tension, turned back towards the child. Intrigued by the situation, Jamie questioned Black's reaction, wondering if it stemmed from the child making fun of Black's color. Observing the kid with a serious expression, Jamie warned him, asking if he had a death wish. Terrified, the child hastily retreated to the other side, leaving Jamie to query Black about satisfaction. Black, seemingly content, conveyed a sense of fulfillment. With that peculiar incident behind them, Jamie decided to head home. Arriving at his residence, Jamie, feeling a sense of exhaustion, reflected on the day's events. As Jamie settled onto the bed, the exhaustion from expending more magical power than anticipated weighed heavily. Jamie contemplated the shift in the trajectory of Jamie's life, foreseeing an escalation in responsibilities. Up until now, Jamie had enjoyed a carefree existence. However, the intrusion of a god, particularly Janus, Jamie's least favorite deity, marked an unexpected turn. Undaunted, Jamie embraced the impending challenge, ready to confront Janus and their followers head-on, determined to reclaim and protect Jamie's territory. On the outskirts, Jance delved into the interrogation of Hanley's subordinates. The subordinates, astounded by Jance and Philip's survival, faced the piercing inquiries of Jance. The strength displayed by Jance left one subordinate in disbelief, unable to discern the presence of other members who would surely have caused a commotion if they were aware of Jance's return. The subordinates surmised that their comrades had likely been defeated, admitting ignorance about the whereabouts of their elder brother. Philip, dissatisfied with the vague responses, pressed for more information. Stressing the imperative nature of the boss's involvement in carrying out Janie's commands and the potential insights into the Jinnist church, Philip demanded details about the boss's location with a stern expression. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the subordinate, fearing for his life, suggested checking bars known for the boss's proclivity for women and liquor. Jance and Philip acknowledged the lead, deciding to head to the bars in pursuit of crucial information. The subordinate, seemingly relieved to escape further harm, let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. However, the reprieve was short-lived. Without warning, Jance delivered a forceful punch to the subordinate's face, rendering him unconscious. With the subdued individual in tow, Jance prepared to scour the bars for the elusive boss, exemplifying the uncompromising approach required in navigating the complex web of loyalty, fear, and survival. Simultaneously, in another part of the narrative tapestry, a child who had previously collided with Jamie approached the hideout, expecting perhaps a continuation of the casual encounter. To the child's shock, the scene inside revealed a stark contrast, lifeless bodies strewn across the hideout, a chilling tableau of the aftermath. The young individual fretted over facing repercussions for not meeting their quota the previous day. Anxiously anticipating potential confrontations with other group members, the kid decided to make a quick exit before misunderstandings could arise. With no one around to enforce consequences, they slipped away, avoiding any potential conflicts with fellow members. The following day, we returned to Janie's room, where Janie, despite waking up, still grappled with exhaustion from the events of the previous night. Realizing that facing the family was inevitable today, Jamie decided to dress up and head downstairs. Spotting Black, Jamie opted to temporarily cancel the summoning, mindful that Jamie's father could sense Black's presence. Descending to the dining table, Jamie greeted both father and mother, inquiring about their rest. Jamie's father wished a good morning, and Jamie sought information about the whereabouts of his mother. In a sudden, shadowy appearance, Jamie's mother emerged from behind, enveloping Jamie in a warm hug. Playfully, Jamie, wearing a cute expression, questioned where his mother had been hiding. Despite Jamie's awareness of her hiding spot, his mother indulged the inquiry, patting Jamie's head and asking if Jamie had been scared. Jamie admitted to a slight fear, but added that it was enjoyable because it afforded an opportunity to see his mother. Delighted by Jamie's response, his mother radiated happiness. Ready to proceed with breakfast, Jamie suggested they start, but his mother, brimming with excitement, insisted on one more hug. The warm embrace extended as both Jamie's mother and sister joined in, creating a heartwarming and affectionate moment within the family's morning routine.